A scandal erupts in Congress as a shocking letter is revealed overnight on LALATE about the push to get a vote. And tonight, there is a vote occurring. Nancy Pelosi is introducing a bill, but it's not a bill that you're going to like, and it's not a bill that you support, but it's a path in the correct direction as a second stimulus scandal explodes. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings LALATE, and really a confusing night of stimulus updates. And I'm going to make it very simple for you and keep you focused on a path as the cows are grazing over the side. Thank you for joining me and your family and your cat and your dog, your alpaca. I have a lobster. I have apparently a dragon. And as of this afternoon, I now have Bugs Bunny. Apparently, a rabbit runs to the room every time I say second stimulus. No joke. This is Evenings LALATE every night at 6:30. Coming up next is Purple Power. You're going to tune in for that one because that is going to be a big one. Shockingly great news tonight as the entire path and landscape of the Congress and second stimulus is going to change in the next 24 hours. I predicted to you earlier today when I said the Temple of Doom is introducing a bill that you should ignore. Well, she is. And this is coming amidst a scandal that's been hitting her like a very bad $12 ice cream. Let's get to the incredible details. If you've not subscribed to the channel, tonight's the night to do it. This is going to be an incredible broadcast. Subscribe on the front of this channel. Hit the alert button so you get a look when a new video goes live. I'd love to have you part of this community, the best community online and the fastest growing channel, and now at 270,000 subscribers tonight. Thank you. And then also like this video because this is going to be an incredible video. Tonight, the path to where we are to get a second stimulus check in our hand and to get extension of FPUC in our pockets and to get hazard pay and to get rent is a little bit less clear than it was even just a few hours ago. But our focus remains unchanged. Problem Solvers Bill. We still, as a group, will remain behind the Problem Solvers Bill, which is the path to getting a second stimulus check. The reason why is it's everything and everything it's supposed to be, and because of this letter. This letter overnight, which of course I've mentioned several times in the last 24 hours, I'm going to go back to because of tonight's breaking news, said that there's a need for a new bill and a new bipartisan bill that addresses the concerns of bipartisan leaders. It was a letter written by Republicans and Democrats that said, stop with the partisan bills, give us a new bill. Tonight, there's going to be a new bill in the next 24 hours. As first detailed on this channel earlier on Mornings LALATE, I told you it's coming, and it's now arriving. It's a new bill written by the Temple of Doom, which I told you to ignore, but I want to tell you what it is so you are not confused by the situation. It's going to be a partisan bill. It's going to be a new bill, but it's going to be a partisan bill. And it's going to be exactly where people don't agree upon at $2.2 trillion. It's a number too high, and some reports say it may even come in at $2.4 trillion. It will be a bill that is written and will have a lot of fanfare, and ultimately will be rejected and won't get passed by the Senate. So why is she doing it? She's doing it because of this. She's doing it because ultimately the push is the following. We want a check in our hand. We just don't want a lot of bill writing. And someone seems to not really grasp that. The situation tonight is very powerful. The Purple Power has done incredible inroads, and what you've done is the following. You've been able to take your efforts and put them behind three different forces. One, these are three different focus points, or pressure points as I would call them. One, you've put pressure behind the problem solvers and said, I adore your bill. It's $1.5 trillion. It needs some revisions, but it's a number that Republicans agree upon, the president endorses. We can get it done. We can have law. We can have stimulus checks in our hands and enhance unemployment benefits and all those wonderful things, and we can get them right now. Second, you put support behind the new Democratic coalition. Many of them wrote this letter overnight. They additionally talked on the record today. They initially quoted Oliver Press today saying, we got to get a bill done. It doesn't need to be so robust as what the HEROES Act is. They actually reject the HEROES Act. These are Democrats rejecting the HEROES Act. The bill that the Temple of Doom previously wrote that has been, doing that tweet every single day. It's been 900 days since I passed a very bad bill. Great. Congratulations. Tomorrow will be day 901. So they've all said new bill, slender bill, not this silliness. Third pressure point is the third group in that first pressure point is the Blue Dogs. So Blue Dogs, problem solvers, and new Democrat coalition. Second pressure point is the president. Steve Mnuchin is just not getting it. He's simply not getting it. He's absolutely categorically with the president, ignoring the fact that the president has been telling Americans that he's going to give you a standalone stimulus check. He wants to send it out. He can't send it out. He can't send it by executive order. Then do it. The U.S. economy is slowly imploding. The stock market's crashing. Everyone sees the economics of the situation, and one man has simply not put the pen to paper. That's the president. He's under fire tonight for not doing the executive order amidst a lot of talking about other stuff. Do the executive order for stimulus checks. Do the executive order for FPUC. You have the money. You can do it. You can legally do it. What are we waiting around? So you can do another executive order about American history? Get this thing done. It has nothing to do with the Supreme Court nominee. That'll be a press junket on Saturday. This can be done Friday. This can be done Monday. Get it done. The third pressure point is the most important one, and it's the reason why we have this tonight, is getting in front of Republicans and Democrats who are up for re-election. At the time of this broadcast, I'm going to retweet the image of House members and Senate members who are up for re-election. You need to tell them seats for stimulus. That's seats and the number 4 stimulus, all one hashtag. Say, I'm not voting for you. You don't give me stimulus. And you give me stimulus. Understand, this is an important thing I want us to really focus on. Seats for stimulus means we actually get the stimulus, not that, you put down the $12 ice cream to write another bill and then you have a bunch of 20 of your friends vote in favor of it. No, and then it dies because it's a bad bill. No, that's not seats for stimulus. Seats for stimulus means I get the stimulus. I get it in my hand. I didn't get the stimulus in my hand. You're gone. You're gone. It's as simple as that. That's how we work here. We're not going to be played around because apparently this is what's the process that Nancy Pelosi is doing tonight. Let me explain to you what's going on. There is 3 different fractions in the Democratic Party happening tonight, and 2 in the Republican. The 2 in the Republican, let me deal with first. There's a fraction that we really don't know what they're doing that simply doesn't want to do stimulus. They don't want to give stimulus, but we don't know how vigorous they are about that situation. We don't know how persistent they are about that subject matter. Then there's the president who says, I'll go to 1.5. I know, and you know, and we all generally know the president will go higher than 1.5. The point is how high. I've been reporting for months he'll go to 2. He won't go to 2.2. He won't go to 2.4. It'll never, ever happen. Steve Mnuchin said it today before a congressional subcommittee in the House banking subcommittee. He's not going to go to 2.2. So she wants to write a bill tonight at 2.2. It's a wasted piece of paper and pen. I was like, save the earth. Just don't write crap bills. You can put that on a t-shirt. Save the earth. Don't write crap bills. Use it as a coupon to get some free ice cream. There's that. The other thing that's very important to understand is that there's 3 fractions in the Democratic Party. There's one fraction that doesn't want to do anything and wants to stay at 3.4. That's Miss Potbill herself, AOC, out of New York. She simply wants us to stay at 3.4 and be bankrupt. Maybe run for Congress because everything else is not working well. The other one that the other next fraction is the one that says, hey, we got to do something and we got to get a vote and it needs to be bipartisan. That's these people. The last one is the group that says we need to look like we're doing something. We can't sit around and not do anything. That's the group that's debuting the bill tomorrow. And that's what you have to understand, is you're going to see the biggest horse and pony show that you've seen since Mitch Onse. Remember Mitch Onse? Where Mitch would give us, press releases about the new bill coming. It's a new bill. It's going on tour. Okay, we're seeing the flip side of Mitch Onse, the other side of the album that didn't go, even chart on Billboard. This one is going to be debuted tomorrow after Steny Hoyer rushed into Nancy Pelosi's office and said, hey, you can't simply do nothing. It looks like we're a bunch of fools. You got to do something. Oh, what I'll do, Steny, is I'll just write a new version of it and I'll introduce it and I'll have a press conference and I'll appear on Jimmy Kimmel and it'll look really good. And that's basically what's going to happen tomorrow. She's going to introduce a bill. It'll be too high, 2.2, she'll talk about people going hungry, and maybe you'll get a vote on it, maybe it'll get passed, and that'll be it. It'll be dead. And they'll go home, and they'll enjoy their $12 ice cream, and we won't have stimulus checks. That's what she's trying to tee up. So I want you to not focus on that, because that's what she's going to want to really commandeer all the oxygen out there tomorrow. What I want you to focus on is this. This is people like Jared Golden and Brian Fitzpatrick, Anthony Gonzalez. These names sound familiar. They are familiar because these are the same people who had press conferences in the last 48 hours and says, we can't keep on doing this. We got to do a bipartisan bill. And we need to do a bill right now. Our constituents don't want us to go home campaigning while businesses continue to shutter. Food bank lines continue. The coronavirus disseminated the main economy, forced hundreds of businesses to close forever, caused fiscal challenges. Prior to the pandemic, we saw record economic growth. We don't see this. This is all what they're saying. So when we talk about stimulus, we don't talk about writing bills indefinitely. We talk about getting the stimulus in our hands. I just can't believe that we may not be able to do the right thing simply because our elected officials can't come to any sort of compromise, said Doug Parker, chairman and chief executive at American Airlines. We're better than that. I love that quote. I really adore that quote. It's talking about coming to compromise, sitting in your office, locking the door, not letting Steve Mnuchin in, not letting Mark Meadows in, not remembering Mark Meadows' name, and writing up a bill and not compromising, simply saying, okay, here's my new bill. It's a bill I know you're going to reject, but here it is, and I came down $1 trillion, so hence I'm great. No, you should never have been at 3.4. That's not a compromise. You have to understand where we are tonight on numbers, because no one does numbers better than this channel. The $915 billion bailout of state and local is a 3-year grant program to states. 3 years of free grant money that can be used for anything non-COVID related. It doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to the food that you put on your table. It doesn't go to rent. It doesn't go to anything about you. It has nothing to do with COVID-19. It goes to Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo to run their states. It doesn't help you one penny. That's what she wants, and that's what she's using to hold up your stimulus checks. So now what she's doing, she's coming down on a number that's really still ineffective. Without a hard public commitment to schedule a vote on October 1st, this is nothing but a political year grandstanding, says Julie Hendrick, an airline CEO. What's important to understand as we sit here tonight is we have a lot of great stuff behind us and a lot of great stuff in front of us. What's moving us to the finish line is 3 factors. 1, there is that timeline. That timeline categorically works on our behalf. That timeline to get stuff done by October 1st is so important because I seen the comments earlier today. People are like, I don't care about airlines. I don't care about airlines. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. I got it. But use this in a opportunistic way. These are people who are in your stimulus package that have a deadline, and that deadline is just a few days away, and they are pushing this to an emergency situation. We've never had that in a way that we actually had a firm date. I got it, and I've said it more than 1,000 times on this channel. When you were facing eviction back in April, that was an emergency. When you didn't have food in May, that was an emergency. When you didn't have money for your car in June, it was facing repo, that was an emergency. But did Congress care? No. Now an entire industry that they simply can understand, that is not one person, but an entire industry, will collapse on or around October 1st. And now they realize they have to do something. The other timeline that's really big is, of course, seed for stimulus. they'll be gone. They will be unemployed if they don't give you the stimulus package. And that's why really it's sort of shocking. But in less than 7 days, the power of this channel, the power of you, the power of Purple has really taken this from a don't come to me unless you have an offer that I want and I'm going to keep my door closed, to now literally a scrambling. The situation is very economically poor tonight. New unemployment claims were announced on this channel on Mornings LALATE. Really at 130,000 views this morning. What a watch for this morning's show. Thank you for tuning in. Unemployment claims, new unemployment claims, bad, went up, 870. They're expecting them to go down. This is not good. We're at 24 weeks of unemployment claims. This is just not good. Second, retail, rental. People are not able to make rent on the retail sector. So they're saying 75% of people can't make rent. Third, Jerome Powell said that we need to do stimulus or we're going to see a very bad situation. Fourth, Congress, when they spoke to Steve Mnuchin, they said, you know what? We can get enhanced unemployment benefits and stimulus checks out tomorrow. What's going on? What's going on, Steve? He had no answer. He had no answer. Additionally, here's some good news as well. If you need a job, after I detailed yesterday that Walmart is hiring over 100,000 people for the holidays, Target is hiring 130,000 new workers for the holidays. That's up from 120,000 last year. This is in the stores. This is also online operations. Go apply. They need lots of people. As we turn to the evening, what should we think and where should we go? What we should think is this. Stimulus package can get done. It only takes 2 days of voting. Remember, it only takes 1 day for the House and 1 day for the Senate to pass a bill. And then it only takes 1 day for the president to sign it if he's on board. Very, very, very quick. We only need 2 days to get this done. And I understand it's a Thursday. And I understand it looks like it's getting close. But we got 2 days. We only need 2 days to get this done. Second, there is an element of good news to the introduction of the Temple of Doom's new bill tomorrow or tonight or whenever it's going to land. Is that ultimately, actually there's two things that are good about it. One, it's keeping stimulus front page. A lot of you have dropped the comments. I'm worried about the Supreme Court nominee taking up the oxygen of broadcast news. Yeah, I got it. I don't agree with you. There's going to be a lot of horse and pony on Saturday when the president makes his nominee, but there's not going to be legislative work on the nominee anytime in the next 2 weeks. It's just not going to happen. They're not working on the Supreme Court nominee. But it does take the introduction of her bill in the next 24 hours does put stimulus back on front page. Second, the economics are so bad right now that they're actually now talking about stimulus in stock analyst reports. When they announced when they announced a new buy or sell order on Apple today, they said, well, we have a problem with Apple, and the problem is FPUC has expired. FPU has expired, and that's why we don't think you should buy Apple. So don't buy Tesla because there's no stimulus checks. Don't buy Walmart because there's no FPUC. And don't buy Amazon because there's no hazard pay. But when we get it, then, I love that because it's pushing the discussion to the front page. Finally, the other thing that's very important to understand is that the introduction of her bill overnight, while very distractive, should not be our focus, won't be our focus. It ultimately may tee up something. It may tee up negotiations. I don't know if it does. I don't know if it will. As I sit here tonight, I simply can't fathom what the mindset is of that woman who has not helped you. If she's introducing the bill purely for publicity purposes, which I think she is, for what we call optics, trying to make herself look good, or whether she's trying to introduce it to actually get it passed, my answer is very simple. 2.4 is not going to pass. 2.2 is not going to pass. It'll pass the House. It's not going to pass the Senate. It won't even get into the building. It won't even get down the hall. So if she gets off 2.4 and gets off 2.2 and the president gets off 1.5, we could have a deal at 2. We could have a deal at 2. And remember what 2 is. 2 is CARES Act 1. When this channel first moved into stimulus slowly, I said to you, we could have a second stimulus package at 1.5 to 2, that the president will go to 2, that CARES Act 1 was 2, that 3-4 is outrageous, and that 1 for the Republicans was absurd. But that 2 seems logical. However, I qualified it by saying that 2 last time had an enormous amount of money in it for PPP. Too much money in it for PPP. This time, that's not in there. Although there is PPP, it's just not in there as big. So the question is, if we went to 2, if both sides went to 2 and got it done, what would be in that $2.0 trillion deal? It would certainly have to include hazard pay. It would certainly have to be FPUC retroactive. It would certainly have to be stimulus checks. The question is, why don't these people give you more stimulus checks? I simply don't know. I saw your comments about Mark Cuban. I agree. I adore the guy. Even Larry Kudlow thinks $1,200 is no longer a stimulus check. That's why he won't call it stimulus. He'll call it assistance check. It should be $2,000 every single month for 6 months until the pandemic ends. But for tonight, this is where we're starting, and we're certainly not ending. Go to the Finance channel, subscribe, and drop your comments below, and I might feature them tomorrow's recording. If you've not subscribed, this is the channel to be at. No one is doing what this channel is doing, from viewership, from community, from helping one another, for keeping ourselves focused, from keeping ourselves positive. I didn't even have time to go over the success stories. There have been so many success stories in the last 3 days of this channel for people finding grants locally. Just keep it going. Also like this video, because we are here as a community. We're going to get through it together. Coming up next is Purple Power. Got to tune in for that. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.